shared screens up. Right to the, yeah. Got it. All right. Everyone calls her Marty. I did say Martina Moffat earlier, and she's like, it's
That's okay. That's my government name.
yeah, she's been with the Veterans Healthcare for 20 years. Her office is physically based out of Biloxi, and I did just give her a quick call and say, hey, can you? Because I met her at the Warrington campus at an event, and I had never heard of the project or the program she is running. And it's been going on for decades. And so if I, who feel like I'm pretty into information, but didn't know about it, I thought it was important to bring to everybody else. Our outreach spans to Mobile, Pensacola, Panama City, Eglin. Occupation is a licensed and certified medical technician and is currently the assistant chief of pathology and laboratory sciences that covers the same areas mentioned above. She's originally from Charleston, but has been a resident of Mississippi for over 20 years, and her husband is an Army veteran, and her daughter is an Army veteran. Is that right?
She's just part of the mix.
Okay, she just has a daughter. And today she's going to be speaking to you about the Minority Veterans Program. And without further ado, Marty, would you be willing to come?
Oh, so I have to stand up. Okay, you can sit. Well, now, can everybody hear me? I need this. Good morning. I guess when we were doing the breathing exercise, I was just hoping to make it till, like breathe out, breathe in. I was just like, I'm not gonna make it. So that was just me. So that's a little icebreaker. But welcome. I'm glad everybody made it on screen and here. My name is Marty Moffat. Again, I'm the Minority Veterans Program Chair. I'm physically located at the VA, Gulf Coast Veterans Healthcare System in Biloxi, Mississippi. That healthcare system encompasses outpatient clinics that we have in Pensacola, Florida, Panama City, Florida, at Eglin Air Force Base, and also in Mobile, Alabama. The program that I do outreach in all of those areas. So if you're talking with me today, after you hear what this program actually entails, if you need me to come out to any of those areas, I don't mind coming out, passing out information, assisting veterans in those areas, giving out my name, my email address to assist them in matters that they have. Next slide, please. We're gonna have a little video, hopefully it'll pull up, and it tells a little bit about the Minority Veterans Program.
We are one.
Make sure everybody online can see it.
Who come from many, one nation, one people. Some of us are native to this land, and we cherish our country. Some of us come from far away and built our lives here. We were the scouts that helped found this great nation. We were the code talkers of both world wars. We were the Buffalo Soldiers of the 10th Cavalry and the Tuskegee Airmen who ruled the skies. You are every nation, every culture, and every faith. We serve the highest calling. Some of us have paid with our lives. We are the minority veterans of the United States military. Join us for an event like no other. We are one.
And this is just a highlight that they did. We had a summit in Dallas in 2019, and it gave me more insight into this program. So just to give you a little history, how I kind of got into this. Like we stated before, I am a medical technologist. I work in a lab. And working at the VA, you kind of get tired, or in any job, so you get tired of doing the same thing. So I saw this collateral duty about minority veterans. I was like, I wonder what they do. And so, of course, like at some other jobs within at the VA, what happens is you get this job and nobody knows about it. So I got the job and they're like, oh yeah, you're the only person that put in the application. I was like, really? I was like, great. Well, what do they do? And nobody had an answer for me. They're like, just sign this report and send it in. I was like, no, it has to be more. It has to be something about it. So I started getting insight from other people that were actually my minority veteran program coordinators at different sites. Next slide. So the Center for Minority Veterans was actually it was established by public law in 1994. And what came out of it was actually, they started seeing that there was a lagging utilization by minority veterans in VA benefits and other services. And just another factual tidbit, other than the Native American Direct Loan Program, there were no benefits that accrued to veterans simply based on their race. This program actually allows for minority veterans to actually get assistance in things. There are a lot of times where minority veterans don't actually know that they have benefits that they can come to. And just example, privately, I have a few girlfriends that were actually in the military. They didn't realize that they could come to the VA and actually get women's health care benefits. They had no clue. They would actually go out into the public and actually try and sign up for Medicaid so they could actually go in, have their baby, and things like that. They didn't understand that they could actually come to the VA, get prenatal care. And at our VA, like in Biloxi, they're able to actually get those maternal benefits over at Keesler, the active DoD site. They can actually have their baby there. And then when they get finished, they can, for postpartum care, they're able to come back to the VA afterwards and still have care. A lot of times they didn't know that. And if you've ever been, I think the first slide, I had a picture of the VA campus. Coming into this campus, it's kind of like guarded. There's a lot of trees and things like that. And a lot of people don't actually know that they can just roll up on campus. There's no, okay, stay out because you're not a veteran or anything like that. Anybody from the public is able actually to come onto premises. So a lot of times, just knowing that they're able to come and actually see what's going on, that hinders a lot of people. You can go back to the slide we were at before. In this program, in fiscal year 2019, over 900,000 veterans were able to be contacted through the Center for Minority Veterans. Only 330,000 of them were actually minority veterans. And when I speak of minority veterans, those are veterans that are of different multicultural ethnicities and also women. Because if you ever notice, when you come into a VA, most of the time you see males. You don't see a lot of females at all, but females are actually considered minorities within this program. Next slide, please. The Minority Veterans Office is actually located in DC. The rest of the slide just actually describes the law that was put in place in order to have this program. This isn't a program that just came out of Biloxi and, you know, it's just there. No, it's at every VA hospital, at every National Cemetery office, at every Veteran Benefits Administration. They have a Center Minority Veterans Coordinator there to actually do outreach in the community to make sure veterans know to come in, get your benefits. If a veteran is actually having an issue where they need some assistance, they can call me or they can call an MVPC at another entity and actually seek assistance, and we will put them in touch with who they need to be in touch with. I've had a few veterans actually contact me about, I had one just needing transit. The veteran had basically gotten to a point where they couldn't find any sort of public assistance to get to the VA for their appointments. So what I ended up doing was, at one time I had a van to actually go out and pick up the veteran and have them come in for their medical appointment. After that, because it was a whole lot of rigmarole to try and get that done, we were able to get that veteran an iPad so they can actually have a virtual telehealth appointment from there on out. So it wasn't me actually signing for the iPad to make sure that this veteran actually got what they needed, but it was me putting that veteran into place so that they knew who to talk to, so that they could get what they needed. At the end, it's getting their needs met, but sometimes a veteran may not know who to call or who to get in contact to. Because if you're just a veteran, you're just getting out and you're coming to the VA, you have no clue which service does what. You don't know that your blood pressure machine may be coming out of prosthetics. You know, you're not even probably aware that there's a prosthetics department that does that. Even the compression socks that a veteran may need, that comes out of prosthetics. Most people think prosthetics is like if you have, if you need a leg, or if you have an amputated leg, or if you have an amputated arm, just getting those parts. But no, our prosthetics department sends out all of those entities to veterans. So for me, this position allows me to actually be that middle person for that veteran so that they're able to get the assistance that they need. Next slide. This slide just kind of tells what activities that the Minority Veterans Council actually does. We make sure we disseminate information. We serve as a resource center for the exchange of information regarding the programs and services that are available to veterans. We promote the use of the benefits authorized by being a veteran to veterans that are minorities. But I don't want to kind of put minority veterans within that box, this program that I have. I'm able to assist any veteran, but this program just puts the spotlight on minorities. I try and attend different fairs, different events, parades, anywhere that I can actually give out information about veterans. But like I said before, I don't only assist minority veterans, I assist all veterans. Next slide, please. Here's a picture of some of the staff that work up in the DC office. And they help us to collaborate our reports and also different events and ideas that other minority veteran counselors may have that we can participate in the different areas in which we actually hold these offices. There's also a Secretary Advisory Committee on minority veterans. And here's a picture of one of our coordinators actually attending a fair and just giving more information about what we do in these roles that we have. Next slide, please. Some of the activities that we do are analyze and evaluate and implement programs to improve the Minority Veterans Program. We serve sometimes as expert analysis on the program and advise senior management officials on issues that affect different minority veterans. There is a quarterly training that we do. So like I said, that we could collaborate and actually share different ideas so that we can make sure that we're getting the word out. We do participate in conference calls, and there's a quarterly report that each medical center that actually has the Minority Veterans Program in that we send out to basically make sure that we have pen and ink a report to show what we've been doing every quarter in this program. Next slide. There will be an annual report from this committee that goes out to the secretary. And I think that's it. Most of this is just kind of more into the program if we were giving it to somebody coming into the minority program. Next slide. Other minority veteran program counselors like myself, we have full-time jobs like I described earlier. I'm a medical technologist. I run the lab actually at all of the sites that we were talking about, Pensacola, Eglin, Panama City, Mobile, and Biloxi. When I leave here, I actually have to go to the Pensacola lab. But this is just showing that some of the people that are involved in this program, and it also shows that, you know, it's not just other minorities that are actually running this program. You know, anybody who works at these institutions can actually run one of these programs. Next slide. I think that's it. That should be. Are there any questions about my program or anything like that from online or here? I think I've covered everything. I'm not the best at standing up and doing these presentations, but
It's a lot of information.
Somebody get in touch with you.
I was just gonna say.
yes. I have brochures for everyone today. My email address is martina.moffett@va.gov. I can send it out in our,
Yeah, and if you're registered with the Agenda Pop, you can find her information on Agenda Pop under her. You can find it always, anytime that you have it, you have access to now if you've downloaded Agenda Pop. Plus, we do the resource guide. And so it will be in the resource guide that has access through Agenda Pop or through our email or our uwf.edu, which we can show you how to get there. So. And we can send out the information to everybody about the speakers. Trina will send that out at the end of the day to everybody who's here to get that contact, as well as everybody puts their information out. You'll get that too.
I hope I didn't talk too fast. I was extremely nervous. I'm so sorry.
She didn't have much time to prepare.
But if you have any sort of questions or anything like that, just let me know. Like I said, I am available to attend events, but just so that you bottom line to all of this, I'm the middleman to basically help veterans to get them in touch with the benefits they so rightly deserve. That's basically what I do. Those veterans are able to call me. So if you know somebody in your area that is having an issue or a problem, tell them to call me. Hopefully I'll be able to figure something out. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Marie. And one of the things to remember is exactly that. If you have someone and you don't know where to go to, we have so many people that are connected to each other that you can contact Marty. And if you don't know that she can do it or not, she can connect you to someone else, or same vice versa, we can connect it. So if you have a veteran that has something and you just don't know where to send them, there's been individuals that come and you're just at a loss. How do you help them? What do you do? That's where you just connect with the individuals that we meet here. So what we're gonna do now is we have 21 people in here and 30 people online. So we're gonna do a round the room in here, and then Mark is gonna get up and introduce our next speaker. And then we have, is there anybody online? If there's anybody online, when we finish in here, if you have to leave, please don't just say, hey, just let me go now. But if you have to leave, please let us know and we'll let you go. Trina can call you at the end of the round the room in here. So I'm gonna skip these two just because Mark's gonna introduce himself when he introduces Jeremy, who's our next speaker. And we'll start with your name, what you do, and if you have any events going on, if you have anything you want the group to know, we don't need your shoe size. So. If you'd like, or you can stand up because we have the people online, so we're
My
trying
name is
to get us so
Gary
you can
Wilk.
see
I
them.
work with David Allen Capital. I'm a retired Navy helicopter disabled vet. Just if there are small business people, that's who we serve. We can get funding based on revenue up to $2 million. If you need more information, go to harrywilks.com. That's just our website. Thanks for letting me be here.
He said $2 million and people think about that.
Now, those are not long. Revenue based. The bank can't, they can't get money quick enough, and you don't have the collateral. That's where we go. I'm sorry.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Joseph Durango. I'm with Eagle UAS. We're currently training wounded and disabled veterans how to fly commercially and recreational drone operations, what we call adaptive recreational therapy. You may not know, but flying drones is actually very therapeutic for PTSD, TBI, and other neurological disorders. Anyway, we're currently operating on a WRC model part. We'll also be cycling up in the Civil Air Patrol in this area, Squadron 2424, to help them develop their drone operations out here for the next upcoming storm season. If anybody'd like to help us out and join our organization, we'd be more than obliged to welcome aboard. I'm a new transplant from Los Angeles. I guess you can tell from my accent. I've come to the promised land. It seems like I'm come here to Florida. There's so much nicer than being stuck in LA with its 9 million people. Anyway, thank you very much for your time.
Just a reminder, the people online, we already threw the mic, so don't forget to keep that up.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. My name is Mike Hamlin, my first PVSON meeting, and want to get to learn a little bit more about the MDRC and PVSON. I'm a semi-retired engineer. I'm actually looking into developing an app or a website platform to assist people with some mental health issues, to include things such as eating too many cheeseburgers, and just any other kind of mental health issues that they have, to possibly include PTSD support as well. So if anyone has any questions for me, let me know. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eric Good. I didn't know I was going to do this. So I'm a small business. I collaborate with a company called ASEA. We've been out for about 11 years, and what we do is something exclusive. We actually allow the body to feel at the cell level. We are the only technology in the world that does that. So we don't make medical claims. However, what we do is every condition in the body does start with damaged cells. So I especially like working with veterans who have anxiety, depression disorders, PTSD, any kind of chronic conditions, because when you heal at the cell level, that's something that can be incredibly transformative. We were introduced to this 4 years ago. I come from the medical world, being a medical professional for 23 years as well as my wife. So when we saw the results on my special needs son, Daniel, that became such a life-altering thing for us after working this on the side for 3 years in pharmaceuticals. That's what I do now, this full time. So didn't know I was going to talk about this today, and I'm actually looking for a nurse for my son, Daniel. And it's recommended to come here and try to get some connections about that. So thank you for letting me share those very important things that I do. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kirsten Carlson. I worked with Lori at the MDRC for about 3 years. I'm a senior at UWF. I just started working with Michael Wimmer. He's at Magnolia Wealth Strategies. He's a financial advisor, so if you need help with investments or insurance or just budgeting, I'm one of his clients as well, and he's really helped me thus far. Outside of that, I am a dependent to 3 Air Force members, and yeah, the Air Force the whole year. Proud to be American.
Hey, I'm Mike Eagle, if you're hunting for a nurse, Nels Anderson isn't here with VetCV, but I'm
He's
sure
there.
he's there.
Online.
He'll have one for you.
Yep.
But I am Mike Eagle with Skill Mill. We have a unique ATS system. We're an HR technology company and SaaS company, but inside of our ATS, our free resource for veterans is any veteran can come in and parse their resumes, of course, but they're VMAT, the Veteran Military Education and Training. We have a VMAT parser that translates the skills you learn in the military, something that people that have never been around us actually understand. Also the host of a podcast called Diapers and Deployments. It was the 2021 Veteran Podcast of the Year. We bring a lot of companies on that help veterans and just give them 15 or 20 minutes to talk about their companies, what they can do. A drone video would be outstanding for that. And I run a telehealth company for veterans. So
Did you say diapers on deployment?
diapers and deployments. But so I spent time deploying, right? And my co-host, she said she'd stay home and change diapers for 20 years. So there you go.
So my name is Max Woodson. I work also with Lori in the vet center. I'm a social work intern. I'm just here to kind of take it all in and do a little bit of networking.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Aaliyah Davila, and I'm the mentor coordinator at the Military and Veteran Resource Center here at UWF. One thing here, we are starting a veteran-specific support group. We have over 500 veteran students here on campus. So if anyone is interested in trying to get information about or information out about what it is that you do, or if you would even want to come and speak at one of our peer support groups, then that would be awesome.
So you want. Oh, you passed it off.
How's it going? My name is Andrew Wiggin. I work at the Military Veterans Resource Center on campus here. I'm also a social work intern in the master's program, and I'm here to network as well. So good to meet you all.
I'm Truman Brown. I'm with the Pensacola Military Officers Association. We're exploring. We have the ability to go to our parent group in Washington and come up with stipends or grants And I'm here to explore what the need is, so that we may start that program. We don't know for sure yet. So that's why I'm here.
Does anybody need money? I think there's a need.
Good morning, how y'all doing? Staff Sean Wiley, actually a recruiter out here in Pensacola and UWF Reserve and active duty recruiter. First time doing this, so hopefully network with some of y'all guys. I do like doing outreach programs, and I always recruit. They can get boring sometimes, so. Yeah.
So my name is Kim Thompson with Panhandle Warrior Partnership. Pretty much, I've been to a couple of PVSONs. You'll hear from other coworkers online. We just try to empower the community to help vets out, improve their quality of life, and just sometimes just be a listening ear. Sometimes it's all they need, but just try to help vets in general.
Hey guys, I'm Dave Glassman. I'm with America's Heroes Enjoying Recreation Outdoors. We got this really cool magazine. It kind of talks about what we do in terms of veteran suicide reduction programming. We do it through outdoor events. Basically, the formula is get to know folks with like-minded, like-experienced individuals, break down the barriers to communication, identify problem areas, and then reach out to all of the what we call brother and sister organizations to apply real solutions to those individual and specific problems that the veterans are facing. Also part of an organization that's up and coming now called Freedom Quest. We did our first Freedom Quest event last September 11th. We'll do it again September 10th or 11th this coming year, since the 11th falls on a Sunday. And it's an effort to remember that day, the single most horrific day in the nation's history. Pearl Harbor was a very big deal, but it was a military target. This was 3,000 dead civilians. And I know everybody in this room is never going to forget that day, but we don't want to treat it as a 24-hour period, just a normal 24-hour period in our nation's history, especially not in this community. So we have all year long programming that's being developed. I talked briefly with the Veterans Florida folks about military law enforcement transition, and that all kind of falls underneath this Freedom Quest concept. So I look forward to talking more about that later.
Dave, if someone wanted to get something in the magazine, could they put something in there and get their information out?
Yeah, the goal of the magazine is to recognize everybody in this room one at a time. The next edition comes out next week. I was really disappointed I couldn't come with a couple cases for this meeting. But Martina's program will be exposed. The Archive Center will here at the UWF, and we've really shined a light on the MBRC and Lori and Claire, the marketing department. Really love what is going on in this program here, this PVSON there. I every time I come here, it's like, oh, I gotta go all the way up to UWF. And 5 or 6 people stood up just on this side of the room. I'm like, oh my God. I started, here, you have to have this. You have to have this. You're gonna develop the next app, right? Sir, podcast. We need the 8-year-old podcast like next week, so we'll make that happen. Veterans Florida have already hit. The guy from Los Angeles, you don't know anybody. Coffee, you, me. I live on coffee, as you can tell. Thank you.
I'm Jeremy Clark. I'm immigrant. And because I'm British, you think so I assist on these things. We're also trying to get an initiative called Revivify off the ground, more sort of left-wing Democrat mentality. By that I mean ozone and resonant light therapy, sort of alternative remedies. We've been treating a bunch of vets with insane amount of success.
My name is Greg Ammon.
You do.
I got a big enough voice. So. My name is Greg Ammon. I'm a care coordinator with the Florida Veteran Support Line under 211 in the United Way. And what we do is we have we've generated a veteran-specific database. So if you have vets that are in need of food, not transportation, whatever issue with that, but food, utility resources, helping pay the rent, mortgages, things like that. We get a lot of surviving spouses that aren't quite sure where to go and all that. So we have a database of resources for that. So if people come to you needing help, have them call 211 and press 5, and they'll be able to speak to fellow veterans. And I'm also a retired Navy helicopter mechanic. 211, press 5.
Hi, I'm Christy Myers. I am with Greg as well. I am the Florida Veteran Support Line Resource Manager, so I'm the one that gets to run out and find the resources and help with resources, so I'm excited to see. But, you know, like you said, we have a bunch of different resources in our database that is veteran specific for utilities rent. I also have like affiliate therapy if it's something they want to pursue, things like that. So if you give these guys a call, there's the ones that will give you the resources, and I get to go out and help find it.
My name is Mike Ellicott. I'm a Florida veteran owner, business owner. I get to help business owners grow their own business using tried and true techniques that are out there. Number one, but number two, I came to join this organization to really look at whether or not there's an opportunity to start a Florida Association of Veteran Businesses chapter here. There's a couple chapters that are sitting across central Florida, and we're exploring whether or not there's an opportunity to grow that organization up here. So, Laura, I met you via email. This is kind of cool. I get to meet you before I have to meet you for real. So thank you for that.
Yes. Sure.
In the past, because I'm a vet, I don't know if I mentioned that, I've had other veterans come in here, help them connect with the VA, help them start to get resources, some of the things I've mentioned here, but I haven't heard about most any of these. And is there a way we can get a list of what everyone said today, kind of everything that they offer, plus maybe a list of what you already provide? Because I can see some of these services in here. There are people already I can contact now that are my friends that are vets saying, hey, you need help with X, Y, Z. Like there's a couple over here, but I feel like I'm intelligent, but there's no way for everything everyone offers in here. And that would be really helpful for me at least. And I don't know if anyone online feels the same way.
So if you look at the screen up at uwf.edu, if you go to the quick references, you'll find the Veterans Resource Center. It goes to quick links, and then it's MVRC. You go to organizations, and you have PVSON. On that page is the PVSON Military Veterans Resource page. It is 61 pages of all the people in this room, all the new people. You fill out that form, you add to it. You download Agenda Pop, you have access to this resource guide instantly. All the people, all the places. We also have CV, Vet CV, which I know Niels is on here, so he'll have a conversation about that. And then just connecting here and getting more people to come here, getting them to fill out the forms, getting them to add that information, and just staying connected. This is PVSON, Pensacola Veterans Support Organization Network. The goal is to get people that don't know yet in the now. Yes, why?
So, is this something that you have to have an account at UWF?
You just go to uwf.edu, but all you have to do is download Agenda Pop and it's on your phone. You don't even have to try and figure out how to get there. So Agenda Pop, it has the resource guide embedded. So when anybody new comes, we ask them to fill out a form. Sharina sends you a form usually. You fill that out. We get your information uploaded into the resource guide.
One thing I forgot to mention when I was talking with you is the local organization here called BMOA, BMOAA. We give out $2,000 scholarships. You can find the information or the criteria for that on bmoa.org. And we're always looking for candidates for that. I'm serious. What happened was this year we could have given out more scholarships than we did, but we couldn't find people that fit into the criteria. So please go to that site and apply if there's any.
It's hard when people say they have money that they can't get rid of. You can always call me. If you ever have any problem, I can definitely find someone that can use that money. You do. And I also just wanted to mention something that maybe people didn't know. I know that a lot of times we've talked about mental health. We've talked about individuals dealing with things. I don't know if everybody knows that 988 has become the new 911 for suicide prevention hotline. So if someone is in need, they can just dial 988 instead of that one safe talk, the 800 safe talk instead of telling people. But 988 is your new 911 for mental health. So just to let you all know that. And then now I'm gonna let Mark introduce himself and the next speaker.
Good morning, I'm Mark Harden. I'm on the board of directors, governor appointed me to the board of directors of Veterans Florida about 5 years ago. I'm also the national judge advocate for Navy in the United States in Washington, DC. And I was in on the ground with putting PVSON together. So I'm just so proud to see all of you here and hope you network a bit. Part of what you get out of this is the opportunity to talk to each other after this is over. So we appreciate you being here. I want to introduce Jeremy Sinemaki. You can see what he's got up there, but he's the director of the Veterans Employment and Training Services Programs at Veterans Florida. He's been with us for about 3.5 years. But he's not a one show pony kind of guy. He is a 15-year Air Force veteran, is that correct? He was the economic consultant at the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity. He's been an entrepreneur on his own right. He was the owner and president of Solariza Inn, which was a premier 5-star bed and breakfast in Brevard County. He's been an independent sales contractor, and he was the management and program analyst with NASA. So he's not a lightweight. This guy is doing great things for Veterans Florida. He's doing great things for veterans. So it's my pleasure to introduce Jeremy Sinemaki.
Thank you, Mark. You know, Mark's very humble about the work he does with veterans throughout the state of Florida and Pensacola area. And he certainly does a lot with Veterans Florida and several organizations here. So thank you for that wonderful introduction. But I'm here today to talk about Veterans Florida and the services we offer throughout the state of Florida. So our services, I'll just start. Again, I'm Jeremy Sinemaki. I'm the Vets Director with Veterans Florida. I'm retired from the Air Force. Medically. So in case you're wondering how you can retire at 15 years. So, Veterans Florida, and the next slide, please. We're a nonprofit created by the state of Florida. We were created in 2014 with the mission to make Florida the #1 veteran-friendly state in the nation. And we're getting there. I think we're number 3 right now, behind Texas and California. But I think our services are definitely #1 right now. And so on the next slide, we are funded by the state of Florida, but we have an independent board of directors that are appointed by the Florida legislature. And so that allows us to efficiently provide services to veterans throughout the state. Next slide, please. All right, so our mission is to attract and keep people in the state of Florida, our veterans and their families. So we do that with a lot of programs that we have that are centered around either helping veterans or transitioning service members get jobs or start or open their business, as well as some educational training. And I'll go into those programs a little bit more. And we have a program more recently that was just added by the Florida legislature to establish us as the agency throughout the state of Florida that coordinates with Department of Defense for the Skill Bridge program. And I know you guys want to talk about that, so I'll go into that a lot further as well. But our statute includes promoting the state to veterans. We do that through marketing in Veterans Florida, as well as we have a contract with Visit Florida, which is the state's tourism and marketing entity. We help veterans seek employment through our career services program. We help employers who are seeking veterans find veterans and now transitioning service members with starting veterans programs, educating them on the value of veterans, some of the skills they bring that they might not know about, and several other things. We have a workforce grant for employers, and the workforce grant helps employers, it incentivizes employers to hire veterans by giving them a way to recoup some of the costs of upskilling a veteran so that they can have the same certifications and qualifications that somebody who in the civilian sector might have. A good example of that is in the military, you can work for years and years on aircraft. You don't need a airframe and power plant license. So a lot of our service members get out without one, but there's a demand for those skills that they have within the civilian world. So an employer who hires a veteran can recoup about half the cost of that when they hire a veteran and put them through the training. We have a veteran entrepreneur initiative. So we have cohorts and programs, resources, mentorship, networking events throughout the state of Florida, put on with through our network partners, our entrepreneurship partners, and they deliver those services throughout the state of Florida. And now, more recently, we're Florida's principal DoD Skill Bridge Assistant Organization, and we have the Florida Skill Bridge Initiative. Next slide, please. For marketing, we primarily focus on service members that are within 12 months of transitioning out of the military and hopefully deciding on where they're going to make home for their post-service life. And we market to up to 200,000 service members throughout the world. I know it says country, but we market throughout the world now to service members that are looking for opportunities within the state. Next slide, please. These are some examples of some marketing that we have recently posted on social media and other things. I would urge you to go on social media and follow us, Veterans Florida. And then you can keep up to date with all the different offerings we have throughout the state. Next slide, please. So our career services that I mentioned earlier, we have transition services where we inform Florida industries, where we inform veterans about Florida industries and opportunities. There's a lot of industries within Florida. It's very diverse. And there's a lot of industries that service members may not know about that are unique to Florida. We have the #1 simulation program in Orlando. We have the Kennedy Space Center, which is the only human spaceflight launch center right now for the world, really. Well, I mean, some other countries have one, but no US personnel would launch from those sites, aside from a short contract we had with Russia. We have activity checkpoints to help transitioning service members stay on track and try to plan their transition a little better. And as a veteran who had a very difficult transition initially, I know what the value is now of planning that transition. So we help with that, try to pass that on. Our career services that we offer interview preparation, resume preparation, and then also skills translation. So we can take somebody that has a specific MOS or AFSC and convert that into what civilian jobs they might be able to do. We also have job placement. So we work with employers to offer positions to veterans. And then when the veterans come to us, we can match them up. We don't always have positions open, but we do refer them out to other organizations that may have jobs that we don't, such as Career Source throughout the state. So even if we don't have a position for them, we can generally refer them to the right people who are doing better hiring. Next slide, please. Workforce services. Again, we work with employers throughout the state to educate them on the value that veterans can bring to their workforce and the skills that a lot of veterans have that employers simply don't know about. So veterans in many cases are an untapped resource to employers who are looking for a specific workforce. And I mentioned it on the airframe and power plant license, but aerospace companies throughout Florida are just begging us for military service members, even ones that may not have been trained in aerospace. They're willing to train them if they have some kind of mechanical aptitude and abilities. We also review resumes with the employer so that we can recommend to the employer who may not understand how a military position translates to their company. We work with them to kind of let them know how, say, the leadership skills that you have would transfer to a management position or something like that. Workforce training grant, as I went into a little bit before, is a 50% reimbursement up to $8,000 per veteran per year. And that's for new employees as well as existing employees to get certifications, on-the-job training, any type of upskilling. It doesn't really apply to your typical college type education. That's more along the lines of GI Bill. But employers do have a lot of options when utilizing the training grant. I'm going to caveat that we are out of training grant money for this year, so there won't be any until July 1st. And it's been going very quickly in the last few years. And $200,000 total 4 years per company. So as an employer, you can recoup about half the cost of that up to $200,000.
I can say personally, on my company, I hired 6 veterans and received $40,000 cash from this program so that we can continue their training.
Right, and it gives veterans a great opportunity, even though they don't directly get the money, they get the opportunities that they otherwise may not have had should we not provide this incentive. And high-tech industries and Florida targeted industry list that Enterprise Florida puts out are our priorities for that. So that would be STEM, aerospace, IT, financial services, and manufacturing. Next slide, please. Our entrepreneurship program is a great program that we've been putting on throughout the beginning of Veterans Florida. And I myself was a recipient of the first entrepreneurship program I went through in Tampa, and it helped me with my businesses that I've had. And so I'm really happy to be in the role I am now and be able to give back to what I've been able to do because of this program. But we provide networking and workshops so we can bring veterans together. And you know, the power of networking is big anyway, but when you bring veterans together, we just kind of click, if you will, and come together. And so this program is really unique because I know when I went through, and even now, I go to networking events all over the state with FAVA, puts on some networking events for us. And it's just incredible to see 2 veterans that never met solving each other's problems right off the bat, you know. And they may have been pounding their head on the table for weeks or months trying to figure out a solution. And, you know, these veterans with maybe different experiences just come up with it right away. But it helps build their local businesses as well as mentorship. So other business owners, a lot of service members are lacking that because they've spent, you know, 10 or 20 or 30 years in the military, and they've never focused on the business. They haven't been in the business community. So they don't know where to go to find capital or, you know, get a loan from the bank or, you know, to register their business and get licensed and find insurance and all those things. So this local business networking and mentorship is really huge. We also have facilitated cohorts throughout the state. Those are more in depth. It'll take you from either startup or growth phase of your business and kind of show you what to do and how to either start or grow your business. And we used to have one with the University of West Florida. That one, they decided to do a different program this year. So we still have a virtual program covering North Florida. So also the entrepreneurship program provides access to finding mentors as well. And then we have co-working and incubator space. In the Pensacola area, we don't have any yet, but we're still looking for some spots. And we're working that out. So hopefully soon we'll have some space here within the Pensacola area for co-working and networking, or co-working and incubating. Next slide, please. All right, SkillBridge. A lot of people are asking about SkillBridge. So SkillBridge is a Department of Defense program that allows service members who are transitioning out of the military to work at a private employer and for up to 6 months during the end of their service commitment. There are other types of SkillBridge as well. So there's educational type SkillBridges where they can go to certain trainings and education. Veterans Florida focuses on the internship portion of that. We can refer service members to the educational SkillBridges that we know are out there, but we focus on trying to build opportunities to intern throughout the state of Florida. So this program is really great. It's a win for the veteran because it allows them to go work in a civilian capacity and see what the differences are between the military. They can build their network. They can prove to the employer that they have the skills that they need, but they retain their full pay and allowances from the DoD while they're doing that. For an employer, it could be a risk to hire anybody. But for service members, if they're not sure if those skills translate, if they're going to be a good cultural fit, you know, there's a lot of stereotypes and misinformation out there about service members, such as PTSD and things like that. It gives the employer a chance at very low risk to try out a service member to see if they fit within their organization. And then hopefully they'll hire them. The success we've been having for that has been tremendous. An overwhelming majority of our employers hire that service member that goes through that internship. So
that employer, I'm assuming they come on for, they don't have to pay any pay because we're getting their active duty pay, is that correct?
correct. So employers are prohibited from paying the service member anything because they're getting their full pay allowances through Department of Defense. So I don't like to use the word that they're getting free labor because there's a cost associated with teaching somebody how to do a position, but it really saves them a lot of concern, if you will, that that person won't work out. So they're a lot more willing to bring on a service member and give them that chance because they can see firsthand whether they're going to be a fit before they decide to hire. So it's a great program. They do need commander's approval, and early on in the program, some of the service members had difficulty getting that, but I know the DoD's been pushing really hard, and it's been a pretty drastic change, and we have quite a few service members coming to us right now, and the program's growing. It's a fairly new program. And you had a question?
So I use this to transition out of the military. It's unbelievably fun.
It is.
Question, I love the post.
Okay.
What's the popularity of the kids? I already have some people in contact now that are listening to you out about doing this.
So I would say it's popular everywhere. And we talk to people every day from all over the world trying to do a SkillBridge opportunity. Right now, we are working very hard at expanding those opportunities throughout the state of Florida. And I know many companies are coming on very quickly throughout the country. But it's so much so that we have an overwhelming demand for our services that it's taking us longer and longer to process some of these employers' requests for SkillBridge opportunities. But we're doing the best we can to keep those going through the system. And we have a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Defense that allows us to add opportunities to our portfolio. And then we also recruit for those opportunities. So when the service members come to us, we can match them up with your company, should your company sign up for those opportunities.
I kind of see this as a four-fold approach. One being the veteran or the service member that's transitioning out. Two is the company that are applying to be approved within the system. Three is the DoD, which owns the program. So those three things are kind of mature and going. that bottom bullet on the left, commander approval, is the big one. Me being a former executive officer, the 3 commanding officers, 8,000 Marines every year going through the training house down here. If I'm active duty and I see this, I'm gonna be like, well, why would I give up my manpower, for like 6 months? And I know the DoD is providing the umbrella, but is there an effort at the Veterans Florida program level, at the local level, maybe the regional level, where folks from Veterans Florida are scheduling face-to-face or meeting time with local commanders, at least at the 06, if not the 07 level?
So there is some of that going on.
Will you say the question in case the people online
Yeah.
didn't kind of, just what you're answering?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So the question was, is there an initiative at the local level to try and encourage commanders to give approval to service members, as well as to kind of coordinate the opportunities that the service members have and make them aware of that? I know there are initiatives at the base commander levels. I'm not involved with that particular part of it, but I do know at the Department of Defense level, there's been a push, and it's been increasing steadily to, I want to say they're encouraging commanders to approve these types of things. And I know some commanders are getting, using it sort of as an incentive. So we're all military veterans here. And so we're really familiar with the term short-itis, right? So I know a lot of commanders are saying, okay, well, if you give me 100% up until the 6-month mark, then I'm gonna let you do this. And that's been working out really well. And so when they would normally have that short-itis, now they're working towards their future. So it kind of cuts that out. So there's a lot of things going on. I don't know the exact reason for the increase willingness to let these service members go. And it's not always the case. There's certain billets, if you will, that they just probably can't let go. And so those service members just have to finish out their term. That's not the end of the world, because we still have employment services for them, and we can still match them up with these employers. A lot of these SkillBridge employers are looking for specific service members to fill their needs, especially in IT, engineering, anything that requires a security clearance, all those types of things. And if they communicate with us while they're still in the military, we can match them up so that even if they can't participate in SkillBridge, then possibly we can still make a match with the employer.
Don't mind follow up with a question. Mike. West.
Well, he'll just repeat the question.
So has this already been used at NAS or any of the other local bases where if I refer this to a military person, I have several. I just want to make sure there's some groundwork already laid. So if they go in, the commanders most likely do know what this is, and they've already put some service personnel, military personnel before.
Certainly, I do know that it's been, there are people in SkillBridge at every installation, major, permanent installation throughout the world. I know there's some temporary deployment locations that they may not be allowing people to use SkillBridge. But yeah, it's going through every permanent installation throughout the world. And typically what happens is for most of our services, it's different. It's a little bit different for each branch. But typically what happens is the services put the education centers on base in charge of vetting and making sure that everything's in order, that they find an opportunity that they want, that they know where they're going to go for that opportunity, that there's some rules in place, that they have to work 40 hours a day or they have to go back to work at the end of the day. So those types of things, the education center makes sure that that's going to happen. They fill out the paperwork and typically they'll forward it to the commander, and then the commander will sign off on it and process the rest of it with what we do, because we have to sign off on it as well. So that's the typical way that it happens. So if I'm not real familiar with NAS Pensacola, but I believe their education center is running it there as well. So if you want information on the military side of things, that's where I would start. All right. Any more questions about SkillBridge?
Yeah, when you wrap up, of course.
Okay.
I'm here to talk, obviously.
Yeah, I'll stay for a while after the meeting to answer any questions you have. And I'm gonna give you contact information as well, and Lori's app will have it also. Next slide, please.
We actually have a question from online from James Morrison.
Okay.
Will you read it?
So the question is, do military members in the program have to have a full 180 days of leave, terminal leave to participate? That's a great question. During SkillBridge, the service member is not on terminal leave yet. So the answer is no, they don't need 180 days of leave. They go on what's considered, or what many of you may have done when you were in the service, it's called permissive TDY. So in other words, you're still in the military in the full active duty capacity, you're just allowed to report to a different place. You don't report to the unit. So you're not charged leave while you're doing SkillBridge. Many service members near the end of their service do have a lot of terminal leave, and some of them choose to take that before they start SkillBridge. Some of them choose to take that after. But for SkillBridge, you can only use it for the last 6 months of your service. So most of them take it after, because otherwise, if they utilize it beforehand, they may not have the full 6 months before they get out.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
So your leave time does not count. You still get leave in addition to your SkillBridge time. Does that make sense?
In other words, if they have 3 months of leave stored up and they use SkillBridge for 6 months, they still have, they may cash that in pay or something like that.
Right, they may still have another 3 months of pay on what's called terminal leave, which means they're not showing up to work, they've finaled out of their military service, personnel center and all that. And they're just finishing out their military time on a leave status.
So that's less than 6 months ago right now. They, for their discharge. So can they still use this?
So that's a great question. The question is, if somebody has less than 6 months of service left, can they still utilize SkillBridge? They can. Not all SkillBridge programs are 6 months long. They could be 4 weeks, they could be 6 weeks. They probably would have to find a shorter program. We have a law enforcement program that we can tailor down to about 3 or 4 months. And a lot of the programs that the employers have, the employers are willing to cut it down. They don't necessarily need a full 6 months. Ideally, they would. And some programs that we have maybe only take a few months to really get proficient at. So that was it's really a 2-part answer. So that's one answer. The other challenge with this person is that they have to find an opportunity to get commander approval. And that's typically where they get hung up. Because that can take a few months. It's not a really quick thing. So most of our service members are looking for a SkillBridge opportunity about 1 to 2 years out. And then coordinate with the employer, their commander, their education office. And a lot of service members will apply for multiple opportunities and then not even decide what they want to take until maybe about 10 or 9 months out. And then they'll start at their 6 month or less if it's a shorter program. All right, next slide. All right, we also have an agriculture program, and we have a really good program here in Milton. And our agriculture program is actually funded by the USDA. And we partnered with the University of Florida. Lori may not be a fan, but it's a 6 month, it's a 6 month paid fellowship at a University of Florida IFAS center. Now, University of Florida is the state of Florida's land grant college. And so they do research throughout the state on agricultural issues, livestock, several things, and address the state's problems with agriculture. And with our program, because they're addressing these problems, they need people to plant fields and plow fields and do all the things in agriculture that you would need to do. What we've done is work with the University of Florida so that they can teach our veterans how to do agricultural type work. And then we either help them open their own farm with our entrepreneurship program, or we'll place them in a agriculture related employment through our career services program. So it's a great program. We have research centers throughout the state of Florida. And we also provide the same training through SkillBridge. So it's been very popular for SkillBridge service members as well. And I will add, with agriculture, we have a lot of veterans that want to work outside. You know, they don't want to be inside and have certain issues, either with mental health or PTSD and things like that. And they're finding a very therapeutic effect of this program. So if you have somebody or you know of a veteran that would fall into this category, you know, this program is really helping a lot of those out, those service members and veterans out. And so, and this is for somebody that doesn't have any experience or that just wants to sharpen their skills. So you don't have to have prior experience with agriculture to do that. Next slide, please. All right, how do you get in contact with us? How does a veteran find us? The very best way is veteransflorida.org. We have an entire team of people that will reach out personally and talk to you if you go on there and you fill out your information and ask for services. Our website's very good too. It has all our services listed and who to get in contact with for different things. If you'd like, my email address is there. Again, it's on Lori's app, and I'll be glad to help with anything. But the best way is to go on veteransflorida.org, sign up for services right there. We also have a newsletter on there that you should sign up for so that you can stay up to date with what we're offering throughout the state. Next slide. All right, any other questions?
No other questions from online? Niels doesn't have a question? I can't believe it.
I don't know. Does anybody online have a question? Nope.
Yeah, actually, I have, this is Niels, since Dave forced me into asking a question. What can you review a little bit about what the obligations of the employers are after they put someone through the program? That, you know, are they obligated to hire the person, though the intent may be there for both parties, but what are the legal obligations of the employer if they go through a SkillBridge program for 6 months?
So that's a great question. What are the obligations of the employer? What we are doing in Veterans Florida is we're checking to make sure that the intent is to hire the veteran. Just because we don't want companies getting free labor from the service members. But there's no requirement that this employer hire that veteran. And that goes back into what I was saying earlier, where it offers a low risk entry for the employer to get a skilled service member who's transitioning out of the military. With that said, I think the vast majority of employers right off the bat tend to want to hire them. And sometimes we even have to hold the employers back and say, well, let them finish their internship, before you offer them a job, because, they might fit better in another place within the organization. That happens as well. So you might come on as an entry level manager or something, and they figure out that you have 30 years experience and you're way better at the C level or something. And that's happened before.
Can I have one more question then, since there are sometimes people that just they haven't thought about it. They haven't thought much about the transition, and they need what I call kind of a bridge job until they figure out that they need more time to plan and or to get another certification. And that we talked about that as it relates to construction workers. There's a big demand on either the low level skill requirements. For instance, even in construction, like pouring concrete, you don't need to be certified to be able to pour concrete, but there's a big demand for construction workers in that field. Does Veterans Florida have any programs around that, or education or insight or collaborations with the American Builders Association or other organizations in similar situations where maybe they come out, they weren't really prepared, but they're still going to be able to get out and make $20 or an hour or more doing kind of a bridge job until they figure out what their real career path is?
Great question. So we don't typically say that a lot of these positions are bridge jobs, because you never know what the service member is going to decide. They may work at a job for 6 months thinking that it's going to be temporary, and then decide there's either an advancement opportunity or it's something that they really enjoy doing. On the other hand, we do have quite a few points of entry for skilled type trades and things like that, such as we have a welding program. We're working with the Department of Transportation for road building, as well as truck driver type skill bridges that we should have online fairly soon. Also, our law enforcement programs are at the entry level, so you don't necessarily need any experience in those areas to get into them. So we have a lot of opportunities across the board. A lot of our entry level opportunities as well allow the service member to, or allow the employer to find out where that service member fits. And I mentioned the law enforcement opportunities. If somebody comes to one of our employers with significant experience in law enforcement, they may go through the same skill bridge program, but upon completion, typically they're going to be put in a different area in the organization. So an example is their permanent position might be as a sergeant or a lieutenant or even higher, even though they went through the same entry level law enforcement skill bridge program. In a lot of those cases, the requirements are the same. And then I know some of the programs we're working on not only get them an entry into the company and things like that, but it gives them a chance to see different areas, work in different areas. So they can see so the service member can see where they want to fit in. And then I want to add to your question on the commitment side. The employer is not required to hire the service member, and the service member is not required to take permanent employment with that company either. So it's a kind of like an opportunity for both entities to try each other out, to see if the service member gets to see if they fit, if they like the job, if it's what they thought it might be. and the employer gets to see if the service members fit within the company, and if they have the skills they said they have, experience they say they have, and that sort of thing. So it goes both ways.
Any other questions?
Yes. Fields in his program has been incredibly successful. I don't know about nationally or at the state level, but certainly regionally. And that CV is what it sounds like. It's connecting veterans with employment opportunities. Veterans Florida obviously has, the big top-down approach going on with the Skill Bridge program. And with Mark sitting here and all his experience at NAS Pensacola and a snapshot of all those high-ranking senior officers that are on the board, I can't emphasize enough how important that roadblock is, that the impedance to success, meaning the socialization of this program writ large to the active duty service members, rests with the commanders. And the problem with the commanders is they're gone every 2 to 3 years, right? So it's a constant re-education until it actually becomes like a permanent socialized understanding within DoD, which could take decades, it could take a generation. Skill Bridge has been around 15 years, I'm told. Well, I had 5 years as second in command of this large organization, never heard of it. And so at the board level and at the program director level, in my opinion, there needs to be a real concerted effort to educate the commanders. And then the one title at the command level that I didn't hear in this is the CRS, which has different acronyms throughout the different branches of the service, but the career retention specialist, with the commander's understanding and awareness level and approval, like what you had in your bulletin. That CRS now, he's the one who meets with every single transitioning service member from the command. And he basically puts them in two piles. This one has a chance of retention. This one does not. This one wants out. Could be because the vaccine mandate, could be because the wife loves it here in the Panhandle, and they ain't moving again. That's it, I'm done.
Why don't you meet with them so we can make sure we can get the people online introductions done, and then you guys meet and have a more in-depth conversation?
I gotta, that's why.
I know, but you don't have to do it now.
So we'll get in touch.
You can do it tomorrow.
Yeah, well, follow me virtually or something.
And Freedom Quest wants to be that help for you here in the Panhandle, at least at the start. So I'm really looking forward to the conversation.
Does anybody have anything else for Jeremy about Veterans Florida? We're gonna get the around the rooms and the virtual world done too. Is this on? Doesn't sound bad.
It sounds dead.
It sounds dead. Can everybody online even hear us? Okay, I think this is off.
Can I see?
'Cause, I mean, it's on, but it's dead. So
I can hear you fine.
perfect. I've always been told I have loud voice. So just some things before we do the around the room. We ended up having 56 people on this call. 56 people. If you talk to 10 people, if you talk to 2 people and get them to come here, we can have more people involved in this. But everybody at least helps at least 10 people. So just in this room alone, we're helping 560 veterans. So just make sure that we remember that. Invite more people to this meeting. Some other things I wanted to let you guys know before we go around the room or the virtual room is UWF has opened up some new programs. Someone was walking through Publix, so they passed the Field Golf logo, a buy one, get one. And you can go to school here if you're in a STEM program, you can get a STEM program for free for every class that you take. They also have a free seat waiver for online. Your first class is free and every class after that is 25%. This is only available to our veterans, our active duty, our reserves, and our guards. We also have a grandparent waiver where if your grandparents live here, you graduate from another school in a different state, you come here and you instantly get in-state tuition. As well as we have a cybersecurity program that's running right now that needs people. It is a free cybersecurity program for our veterans. Trina has been sending those out. So if you guys have programs like that or you have initiatives, send it to vetnet@uwf.edu and we'll get your information out with that. With that, Sharina, I don't know how without the mic you're going to introduce people, but Sharina's going to call you out and we'll put you on the screen and let you introduce yourself and tell about what you do. Well, we're
Okay, we'll start with Aaron Jackson.
Say it again.
Aaron Jackson.
I'm not hearing anybody.
I think stay unmuted.
You have to stay.
Aaron, who is the next one?
Amber Guerrero. I'm just going by an alphabetical order.
Okay.
Easier on.
Who is it?
Amber Guerrero.
Amber Guerrero, if you could.
Hello. I'm a county veteran service officer in Santa Rosa County. I started here in August. Prior to that, I worked at a county in Colorado for about 7 years. So my job is really to help the veterans with their VA claims.
All right. If you guys just, it's harder for us to hear, so just speak up on that side. I'm just looking at it here, and instead of listening to Trina say, I'm just gonna call the next person I see, Jackie Garrett.
Okay, I just want to make sure I was on mute. Hi, I'm Jackie Garrick. I am the founder of Whistleblowers of America, and we opened up our Workplace Promise Institute here, which is our education center for our whistleblower protection advocate certification. Primarily what we do is we provide peer support to employees and veterans who are going through a difficult situation at work. So we focus on retaliation, discrimination, harassment, bullying related to the workplace. And we try to help people figure out what their resources are and what they should do in order to deal with their situation. We are located at 11130 Lillian Highway, and we have started to offer, or we're housing an AA meeting for veterans that meets on Tuesdays at 2:30. So that's a resource I wanted to pass along. And we're working on planning our conference for September to be here at Pensacola Beach, and looking for anyone who wants to volunteer or help us with our mission. We're new here in the community and are still learning our way around, but glad to be able to be providing some resources and connecting. We do get a lot of veterans who are whistleblowers, whether they're still active duty or have worked for the VA. VA makes up a lot of my work. So if anybody needs anything, I can put my email in the chat. Otherwise, I'm Jackie at whistleblowersofamerica.org. Lori, thanks for this opportunity. And I'd also love to work with you on the suicide prevention stuff, because that was my, that is my clinical background. I was an Army social work officer and spent the last 8 years of my government time at the Pentagon.
Awesome, thank you, Jackie. Next, we're gonna go with Angie Willis.
Can you see me okay? Oh, there I am. Okay, so my name's Angie Willis, and I'm an intern here at the JAC office in Pensacola. I'm helping with suicide prevention and the IPV programs. Right now I'm answering or following up on the veterans crisis calls and seeing how I can help the veterans there. So that's it. This is my last internship, and I'm graduating. Hopefully I will be graduating the end of April. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Angie. I hope you graduate as well. Next, we're gonna go with Beth Blake.
Hello, yes. My name is Beth Blake, and I'm with Legal Services of North Florida. I'm a outreach paralegal here. We're a nonprofit organization, and we assist people in civil legal matters. Our office helps people in Escambia and Santa Rosa counties. We do have other offices throughout the Panhandle. And we do have 2 veteran grants, which we assist veterans and homeless veterans in civil legal matters. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Beth. And just so everybody knows, once again, all the contact information is on AgendaPub. We will also be recording all of this, and it records the chat. So Sharina will send you everything that happened in the chat and the recording of this if you want to, leisurely watch this again on Saturday. And now we're going to go with Bill Gardner.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bill Garner. I work with Chris Escarosa. I'm a rapid response coordinator is the title. I work with businesses to help prevent layoffs and then transition employees that have to be laid off into new employment. I work as an advocate for veterans with employers throughout Escambia and Santa Rosa County. And our office provides support and priority of service to military veterans and active duty spouses.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bill. Deandra, we got you up next. Deandra. Yeah.
Hello, can you guys see me?
Can't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay, well, my name is Deandra Gillette. I'm the local recovery coordinator for Gulf Coast Veterans Healthcare System. And basically, in a nutshell, my job here is to promote our behavioral health recovery oriented programs, and also to be an ombudsman and a consultant to the mental health care providers in hopes to transform the way that we provide services, behavioral health services for our veterans and their families.
Wonderful. Thank you.
No problem.
Maxwell, and we see you now. Donna Maxwell.
Hi, good morning. I am Donna Maxwell. I am the Women Veterans Program Manager for the Gulf Coast VA. And that means that I am responsible for making sure that all women veterans who are enrolled for care at any of our facilities from Biloxi to Panama City are receiving the care that they need, that the care is received in a timely manner, and it's equal to the care that we provide to our male veterans. I'm also responsible for making certain that all of our women's health providers are trained in women veterans healthcare and the unique needs that women veterans have. And I make sure that all of our women veterans who are receiving care, either at one of our facilities or in the community, feel safe and respected when they go to their appointments. So if you have any women veterans who are having trouble getting an appointment or getting care through community care, or they say they don't want to come to the VA because they don't feel comfortable there, you are welcome to give them my number so that I can help walk them through the services that they need.
Thank you very much, Donna. Next, we're going to have Douglas McQueen.
McQueen, good morning. This is Rush. I'm with the Pensacola Vet Center. I'm the director here. Happy to be here and happy to see so many people willing to work with veterans and working so hard. For those of you who are not familiar, the Readjustment Counseling Service or Vet Services provides, Vet Center provides counseling services for veterans. We tend to focus on combat veterans, veterans who've experienced military sexual trauma. We can provide services to family members and couples with veterans to support that. We've recently, we can provide active duty service members with some counseling in a private environment. We can also, recently they've added reserve elements who've been in combat environments to our eligibility. So we've recently, within the last month, extended our services to that. We stand available to provide the counseling. We are a referral service as well. So I'll be interested in getting all your contact information so we can send veterans to you who could benefit from what you offer. We stand ready to help. So feel free, we're ready to help. So send folks our way.
Thank you very much, Douglas. Next, we're gonna go with Dr. Baloo.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Luke here. I am the Veterans Justice Outreach for the Escambia and Santa Rosa County areas. And I currently I'm based out of the Jack, but due to COVID, I'm kind of working out in the community and kind of from the house more than anything else. My specific role and tasks are to participate in these outreach events to try to engage with any veterans that have any involvement with the justice system. And the majority of that requires me to go to the jails in Pensacola and Santa Rosa in the Milton facilities to kind of speak with any veterans there that served in the U.S. military and just kind of screen and assess for whatever kind of services or programs or treatment that they may need or be willing to participate in.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're gonna go with James Morrison.
Hi, I'm Rob Morrison. It says James on there, but I am the military and family representative and the school certifying official for VA benefits here at Troy University, Pensacola, and the Troy for Troops Center that we have here. And it's one of only just a handful of Troy for Troops centers outside of our campus in Alabama. And basically what I do is I assist military members and veterans with, questions and, how to use tuition assistance and also how to use our military and family scholarship, which is available to active duty and guard, actively drilling guard and reserve members and their spouses. And they can use those benefits also while they're not using TA. And it basically gives a big help to those that are still serving or in families, of military members. And basically, also I've helped veterans with questions they have about, their VA benefits and certify their courses. And the one program that we have here, we train licensed mental health counselors at the master's level here at our site. And those who haven't already earned their bachelor's degree, we have a Bachelor of Science in Psychology that's offered online that leads up to that program. So and honestly, you don't have to have a bachelor's in psychology to get into our mental health counseling program. So basically, we assist folks with getting to that goal. And also we have online programs that if there's another goal that a service member or veteran has in mind, or a spouse rather, has in mind as far as meeting their goals for their life, in or after the service. I think that's all we have right now, but thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to meet you guys and to listen to all of the different opportunities that you all have. So thank you, Lori, for that invite.
Of course, thank you. All right, we got Jamie Wells up next.
Yes, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you all on the virtual site. Defenders of Freedom is who I represent, Defenders of Freedom Florida. We help combat veteran suicide. We do that through our morale building, outdoor events, as well as our leading edge TBI Center in Texas. Excited to say we've already sent our first airman. He's actually on terminal leave, struggled for the last 2.5 years with severe TBI. And his squadron commander reached out to us. We were able to send him to the center. He comes back Friday. We also had just ended up with our 5th person for the year locally here from 7th Group, a gentleman we just sent and came back last month. So that's making strides. Of course, we work off donor and sponsorships. The veteran pays nothing. The next big thing that we have coming up, 2 things just for the group. on April 9th at the Spanish Trail Scout Reservation. We're having our outdoor skills event again. For those that participated or know from last year, just real quick, these are survivalists from Discovery Channel's Naked and Afraid. They're friends of mine that come out. They teach fire, water, shelter. This year, we're also adding watercraft. Just a great experience for the veterans to come out, also to mix in with the community and have a good time outdoors, team building. Last year, we had some good networks come out of that. And then long haul, September 23rd in Crestview. This year will be our first golf outing, par 4 Patriots. So just want to put those two out there. We're looking for volunteers at all times. Defenders of Freedom FL.us is for our page. Looking to work with many of you. And as always, we appreciate it. We're always here for the veterans. And again, any of our services are free to veterans.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie. And if you guys also notice on the agenda bot, there's a community calendar. So if you have events, send it our way and we'll load it up on the community calendar so you can have all these events at your access. I did see that Aaron Jackson was leaving, so he puts information in there. Thank you, Jamie. We're going to go with Janet Taylor. I did just want to say how keyword picture shows you sentence, but I'm not good. All right, we're gonna go to Jim White.
Hi, thank you. I'm Jim White. I'm with Project Healing Waters Fly Fishing. That is a national level non-profit, very much volunteer run. We are dedicated to the physical and emotional rehabilitation of both active duty military service personnel and disabled veteran through activities associated with fly fishing. There's approximately 10,000 disabled veterans nationwide who are part of this program, being serviced with about 4,000 volunteers. The vast majority of the volunteers in our program are themselves veterans, many disabled veterans. It's been up and running nationally since 2005 here in Pensacola. We've been operating since 2011. We meet 3 times a month. Happy to have anybody involved with it who would like to be involved. The contact information is in the chat. You can also find us both nationally on Facebook and the local Pensacola program on Facebook, as well as website. So if you have any veterans who think they might be interested in learning a little bit about fly fishing, and yes, we do a lot of fly fishing here in saltwater in Pensacola, then get in contact with us. It's a great organization, a great opportunity just to disengage the brain from a lot of the issues people are going on in their daily life and sit down and talk about fishing and other outdoor stuff. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim. You have a good time to just breathe. We're going to go back to Janet Taylor. I saw you unmuted.
Thank you. Sorry. Can you hear me now? Hi, I'm Janet Taylor. I'm a disabled veteran outreach program specialist here with Career Source Escarosa. We work in Escambia County, and there's a team of us that actually work together. There's 2 disabled veteran outreach program specialists, and then we also have a couple of the leaders that work with us. And our end goal is to find employment for veterans, but we also do a lot of outreach and a lot of referrals and work with a lot of community providers, because a lot of the folks that we work with are homeless and just need connection to services to help maybe file a claim or to file for food stamp benefits. So we kind of really use a whole person approach here, with the end goal, hopefully to get to employment. But, firstly, meeting basic needs for a lot of the veterans that we work with. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Janet. Now we're going to go with Keith Manley.
Hey everybody, Keith Manley with Panhandle Warrior Partnership. Let's make sure I'm not on mute. Everybody can hear me? Yes. Okay. Panhandle Warrior Partnership's currently undergoing a huge proactive outreach campaign to meet every veteran in the Florida Panhandle, about 107,000. We're moving along pretty quick. We're also creating relationships with all viable resources in the area to facilitate needs for our veteran community. Hot off the press, I wanted to mention, and I'll push this to PVSON too, is that Duke Field is having, they just got it approved. They're having their big wing day. It's the 50th anniversary of one of their wings there, and they're expecting over 3,000 attendees, and they're pushing hot and heavy to get some booths set up with all of the viable resources in the area. So I'll send more information as soon as they get their flyer together. But here's exactly what they just sent me. April 2nd, 11 to 1600 at Duke Field. Booths allocated spaces inside one of the spacious hangars, also outside. If you have your own tables, tents, chairs, feel free to bring them. They're looking for volunteers and local organizations to assist with setup and tear down. PWP will probably be there to help with that. Like I said, 3,000 attendees to include active duty reservists, contractors, veterans, and their families. So a great opportunity for other resources to get out there and get their names seen and get some real get some real visibility out there. So with that said, thanks everybody. I appreciate everything you guys do, and hope to see you next PVSON.
Thank you very much, Keith. Lauren Anzaldo.
Hey there, everybody. My name is Lauren Anzaldo. I'm the Suicide Prevention Coordinator here at the Gulf Coast Veterans Healthcare System. We heard from Angie Wellis, who's who's my intern, along with Janine DeQueer. I'm not sure if Janine's here today, but she's our intimate partner violence person. Anyway, my responsibility is in helping to coordinate care for veterans that are at risk for suicide. We do a lot of coordination after inpatient stays, but also plenty of folks don't necessarily go to inpatient, so it's making sure they get to the right place if they've had a recent suicide attempt or other increased risk for suicide, looking at building a strong suicide safer community, as we call it, and making sure that all of us are aware of how to identify risk factors, get veterans and their families referred, get them linked up with the right supports, and know how to identify that. And I also do a lot of community training and public outreach and education. So that is me, and I will make sure my information is in the chat. Good to be here, everybody.
Thank you. And Lauren and I have been actually going around to local communities, pawn shops, individuals, just talking to them about suicide awareness. She's also working with the Governor's Challenge, with working with people in the community. We're working right now with Innisfree to do the watchstander. I don't know if you want to talk about that, Lauren, but if any other companies want to do it, it's pretty much the frontline training. But Lauren, I'll let you.
Sure. Thank you, Lori. Yeah, I wasn't going to go on at length too much, but basically Governor's Challenge is something that came out several years ago under the Trump administration to really get governors to challenge their states to create a more cohesive and coordinated approach to reducing veteran suicide, which is a national public health concern, as we all certainly know. And so pretty much most states across the country have taken that on, including here in Florida. So we have a lot of the big players, DCF, the health departments, all these other entities, VA and DBA, Florida DBA, a part of that. And so what our little priority group that I'm a part of was really on screening and identifying veterans, first of all, so we know who they are and help direct them to the right resources, but also screening them if they're, if we identify that they may be at risk for suicide. And so there's an organization that's based out of Northeast Florida called the Firewatch. And so they do a training called Watchstander training, which is basically incorporates a couple of different elements, but it uses a training model called VA Save, which the VA also uses. And they work with a group called Psych Armor. So I'm throwing these names out because some of you may be familiar with some of this, but like Safe Talk training, assist training, mental health first aid, some of these kind of mental health and suicide prevention trainings that many of us have done when we were in the military. I mean, these are a lot of the things that are used in those settings. And so it's kind of modeled after that. And it's really to say that anybody out there in the community who could be seeing a veteran or might come across them or in a business setting as a customer might see somebody who might be at risk. And we identify hotels as one place where that could happen, because sometimes we do have suicide attempts or deaths that occur in hotels because the person leaves their home. They don't want their family to have to deal with that, as well as pawn shops is another because of risk and financial stressors, et cetera. So there are a couple of different places that were identified. And actually, we've been working with Innisfree here locally. And I don't know if Lori's followed all this. I think she probably has, but we are moving forward with them actually starting to implement the training with their staff, all staff at one of their properties. I have a meeting in week after next, I believe, to get that going. And they were really our kind of pilot with it, but really any business that would like to do that, or especially in the hotel industry, which was kind of our focus to roll that out in, It's a free training. Anybody can take the training. If you look up the Fire Watch or Psych Armor has lots of trainings for military and veterans specifically. But so even though anyone can take the training, the idea is if we're more coordinated and we have an entire workplace do it, then that whole workplace is standing ready and has a state of readiness to help, veterans that might be at risk. So I'll throw that in the chat as well too, or you can reach out and ask me questions, or Lori knows a lot about it as well. So if you're interested, we're definitely trying to really expand it across the board. And this is a great group who obviously has a heart and does so much work already. So thanks.
Thank you, Lauren. All right, and Jackie, we saw you. We'll get connected. Matt Standish.
Yes, my name is Matt Standish. I'm the outreach specialist for the vet center over in Panama City. We cover basically the judicial circuit 14 over here, which is Bay, Gulf, Washington, Calhoun, Holmes, and Jackson counties, plus counties up in Southeast Alabama as well. And you've already heard a little bit about what vet centers do. Of course, it's counseling for post-traumatic stress primarily. We get to work with veterans, National Guard, reserves, even active duty members. But one of our biggest features is being able to see their families as well. It's really huge that we can do marriage counseling, family counseling, because we know that post-traumatic stress can really destroy a family. The newest thing that's going on with vet centers is like the director of Pensacola said, is the more emphasis for our reservists. Any component of the reserves, especially when they're on active status, can use a vet center for almost anything. But we're there for people. Our biggest problem with vet centers is nobody knows about us. So because we don't get to advertise, it's all word of mouth. So help spread the word. If you know anybody that needs, veteran, active duty, whoever, if they need, or a troop that needs help, tell them to go to a vet center. And at the very least, we'll get them pointed in the right direction. But we love what we do, and we're doing good over here in Panama City, and just having fun. I'm actually getting ready to go up to talk to a Chamber of Commerce here in about 10 minutes up in Holmes County. But have a great day, and thank you for everything all of you do.
Thank you, Matt. All right, Michelle Matthews.
Sorry, I thought I was ready to unmute. I am one of the post 9/11 case managers within the VA Gulf Coast VAs. I'm with Pensacola and Eglin. Our primary responsibility is to help with the transition from military to the VA healthcare system. We mostly get medically separated veterans, so we're working a lot with active duty members that are coming in, not quite veterans yet. However, we also have another report that we pull that are veterans, and we help transition them, navigate them through all the many channels of the VA, and get them the services that they need as soon as they could possibly get them in. I do reach out to the vet center. I send people to the vet center. I have sent others to that project, Healing Waters. They seem to love it. So I do use the resources that you all are providing me. So thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, we have Niels Anderson.
Hi, I'm Niels Anderson with Vet TV. Obviously we talk a lot about suicide prevention. We just, I'll put it in the chat link. We have a page in our resource library under Vet CV where we're trying to aggregate different resources for people, not just for people in crisis, but also the education side. And I know that Lauren mentioned Psych Armor, and we have those, we partner with them as well. So if there's anybody out there, whether it has to do with suicide prevention or jobs or anything like that, or anything that we've talked about today, that we aren't helping you promote it, just let us know. Call us. I'll put my email on here. Sometimes we have an informal relationship, but if there's an organization that provides a service that we believe is legitimate and honest and actually can deliver, we will help promote that. And there's no cost or anything for that. We just want to have a place where we're creating basically a database resource to supplement what everybody else is doing. We're kind of like the BSAF of this whole thing. You know, we don't make the race car, that's you guys, and you're the race car driver. We just make some of the stuff that make the car go faster, so to speak, or the ability to navigate and send out information about relevant resources in a timely way to people who need it, whether it's the person in crisis, as an example, or a family member who doesn't know what they don't know and they're a little bit concerned. And so their gut and their instinct is saying they need to know and learn something about, should I do something or not? And so facilitating the ability through our network to get that information out, to make it comfortable for them to find out information and reach out to organizations like you guys. And also, I want to mention, I'm on the board for the Veterans Memorial Park. So, well, first of all, as a board member, you know, if you ever run into a board member of an organization that's not-for-profit, they're going to ask you to donate. So, you know, feel free to donate, buy a tribute banner or a brick or something for somebody. We always have projects that are going on at the park. It's all funded by donations. It's not city paid for or taxpayer paid for. But I mentioned that too, because one of the things that we're starting to understand is that people go to the park for healing. And for Veterans Day, as an example, someone left a prosthetic leg that was wrapped in a flag at the park in the grass. And we traced the serial number back, and it turns out there was to a young man who died by suicide, and no family members, no one knew about him, but somebody found out that he was a vet in this process after they found him, and decided to anonymously, just we don't know when or how, but they left a leg in the park. And so it came to us that, you know, sometimes it's really a healing place as well for people to go and just kind of remember and, you know, have some solemn thoughts about their friends and families and those kinds of things. So we're doing more about that as it relates to healing in the park as well, to give access to very quick, you know, resources. One of the things we're looking at doing is having QR codes in different locations where you can scan it if you happen to have a phone, or a phone number to the National Crisis Line, obviously. But it'll open up a page in the park with some resources. And then for more detail, we're going to power it from VetCV for a bigger database that we aggregate over time. So there are a lot of people who care, obviously. Everybody in this meeting, David, Mike, Skill Mill, I mean, Mark Harden, everybody who spoke, everyone who's doing this work is doing this for a noble cause. And so if there's any of you, and I'll add the link to our resource library in the chat, if there's anybody that we don't already have some information on that you'd like to get the word, have us help you get the word out, just email me and we'll get it squared away and add it to the database. Outreach is kind of our thing, is what we're trying to do with the technology, and the technology platform basically, hopefully, as it relates to veterans in crisis, as it relates to suicide, maybe we happen to be in the right place at the right time with the technology for someone to be able to say, yeah, I do want help, and go to the large organizations that we know, text, call, whatever, but also some local organizations who could use, who are there to help. So.
Thank you very much, Neil.
Thanks.
We are short on time, and I know that I have 4 more people, so I'm gonna have Rob Gregg go.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Rob Gregg. I'm the project director for Veterans Upward Bound. Are you hear me?
We hear you.
Okay, Veterans Upward Bound at Pensacola State College. I'm also the co-chair for the Gulf Coast Vets Advocacy Council, as well as a member of the West Florida Defense Alliance. The Veterans Upward Bound project is a Department of Education grant-funded program to help vets prepare for college of their choice, not necessarily here, but any college within the 2 county areas of Santa Rosa. Any questions?
Thank you,
Okay.
Rob. All right, we got Roger Burton.
Hey, everybody, Roger Burton. I'm the outreach specialist for Panhandle Warrior Partnership, and I think Kenneth and Keith pretty much covered what we do. Thanks for being here.
Outstanding. Thank you, Roger. Next, we have Tanya Brasher.
Hi, my name is Tanya Brashears, and I'm the new coordinator of the Veteran Student Success Center at Pensacola State College. Sorry if my voice is a little hoarse. We're a newly grant funded program. We'll be working alongside the TRIO services offered here for student veterans, such as Rob's Veterans Upward Bound. We are going to be providing additional academic advising. We are going to collaborate with community partners such as CareerSource and other veteran organizations to ensure the ongoing success of our student veterans here at Pensacola State. We are also going to bridge or identify any gaps in services and bridge those gaps, not only within the services on campus, but services in the community. We're going to be doing a lot of outreach to increase visibility to all the services offered to the student veterans here at Pensacola State College. We want to obviously increase enrollment of veterans here transitioning out of the military or those that just want to get back in school or those that have never been. We want to increase retention, completion, and assist with the transfer to UWF or those other four-year colleges. I'm a Navy vet and a mom to a currently serving active duty Navy sailors. So, and I've worked with veterans in social work and case management for many years, and have worked in project planning and development for veteran services. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Tanya. I'm sorry for butchering your name. And the last person I have is a phone number ending in 386. 386. You're on a phone. Okay. All right, if you can, I don't know if you can drop your information, but I'm not sure who 386 is, and they're not unmuting. So with that, I know that it ran over, we are until 11 o'clock, but that just shows how many people here have information, want to get it out. I know that we asked a lot for you guys to be here, but as I said, let's make it bigger. Let's make it something. We only do it every 3 months. So it's not something that we all get connected with on a regular basis. And please tell people, let this grow. Let this information be out there for everybody. Let us get all connected and stay connected. We do have networking now, and then I know that a lot of people have dropped off, but Trina is going to pop you into some breakout rooms online so you can network with other people. If you end up getting thrown into a room and there's only you, just send her a chat, send Trina a chat, and she can pop you into another room. So online, you guys are going to be popped into rooms to network. And here you have this time now to conversate, pass cards around, and connect with each other. Thank you all for coming, and have a great rest of your day. I have my almost. Okay. Hey, I got